So I'm using Sublime Text to do it, and this is for the door. I haven't commented I haven't commented the server. I've only commented the door program. So this is the console. It has like 81 lines. I'll just go through quickly through it. So it opens up the modem. This is the default password right here. You can change it and make it so there's no default password. So every time it reboots, it's the previous password that was put. This is just, it checks for the password if the password was correct. And this function sends whenever the door is opened or closed. And this is the main chunk right here. This basically just waits to receive information from the client. So different messages do different things. So for example, exit is gonna disconnect it. Change pass will do this, and other things, And this is the code that's actually run. Well, with this bit right here too, but yeah, that's about it. Then this is the client side program, so it also opens it. This is if you want to change the password. This is the code that it has to run. This is if the door is opened, if the door is closed. It basically just changes the graphics on the screen. And this is the main chunk, I think. Well, not really main chunk. These are the main chunks, but this is just, it waits to receive true or false. So basically, if the door's opened or closed. Um, and then you have a little clear screen function, and this is to enter the password the first time when you log it in. And well, that's about it. This is just the actual code that's run. So this is for the door program. Now for the server, this is um, the client side connect for. So this is how it works. It's very simple. Like I said, I probably need to improve it, but this is just a test that I wanted to do, and I did this really quickly. So yeah, and like I said, I didn't comment, but basically what it does is it prints out this, then it says it sends the connect um, message to the server um, with the specified ID by the user, and then um, I'll go to the server now. So the server pretty much its function is listen. Pretty much all the server does every time is just listen for new messages that come in. So if it receives connect, then it's gonna send back connecting, and it's also gonna send the password. So pretty much what it does is it says, all right, you can continue. If it doesn't, well, you can't, because, well, until you don't receive the thing called connecting, the message connecting, if you don't receive that, it's not gonna go to the next step. So that's what I said. That's what I'm saying. If you entered the wrong IP, it's never gonna end unless you terminate it. Then after that, it's just gonna ask you the password, and then that's where the second message comes in. This is the default password as well. It's written right here. It's gonna pretty much just send you the default password. But I could probably do an app that connects to the server and you can change the password. And once you do that, it's going to send another message to the ID saying that it's connected, and this one pretty much is going to create a file. And if I actually bring you up this, it should be a lot clearer. Um, so 11 is the server, and over here it's gonna create a file with the name of the ID of the device that connected. So basically, if the device is number 6, then it's gonna create a file called 6. And it's going to write just 1 in it, but it really doesn't matter what it writes. I just put 1 because I want to make sure there's at least some information in the file. And then it's gonna go back to listening. Um, Disconnect, that's when you disconnect. So this is the code for disconnect. Really short. Basically just um, sends the server, or is it Rednet that send IP disconnect. So this basically sends the server's a disconnect, and it will pretty much delete the file that it created, and that file is important. Important. I'll tell you why later. Also, when the when it connects to the server, it also puts two variables in files. If I just look up over here, where is it? There we go. So like computer 6, there's a file called iscon, and that basically checks if it's connected to a network. There's just one number in it, zero. It's either 0 or 1. 0 basically means, well, there's no uh, network, it's not connected to the network, and 1 means it's connected to the network. So yeah, and then the server ID, that's the second file. It creates and it writes in it the ID of the server it connected to, so we'll remember later. So these two are pretty important. So what happens in the disconnect? Well, first of all, it tells the server that it wants to disconnect, so the server deletes its file. So it pretty much removes it from the whitelist, because that's really what it is a whitelist that the server adds people to, so those people can join. And then it just goes inside the iscon file and server ID files, and it pretty much resets those. It resets the ID of the server, and it writes 0 for the iscon, so that means it's not connected to a network. And finally, the last one is the ping program, which pretty much just checks if you are connected, and if it is equal to 1, which means you are connected, then it's gonna send ping to the server. It's going to look up the server ID, and it's gonna send it to the server with the code ping, and then the server will receive ping, and if it receives ping, then it will look up who's who. It will look up who's who who's. It will look up the device that sent it. Yeah, okay. It will look up the device that sent it, and it will look up to see if it exists as a whitelist. And in that case, if it is true, because this will just say if it is true, then it will ping it back, and it will receive a ping, and it will just say server ping back. If you're not connected, so if this is not equal to 1, then it's gonna just say make sure you're connected to the network. And if you don't, and if you're not whitelisted, then it's just gonna say not connected. So did I put that in, or did I not put it in? I didn't place it in. Okay, that's another thing I need to make sure. If message equals technically, I just see, so it's gonna check. Okay, yeah, I see. Um, so basically what I'm doing here, not sure if it's going to work or not, but basically what I'm doing is, I'll explain you in here. Now, are those? No, they're not. Then, okay, I screwed up somewhere. Said 14. Do I need an else? 6, no, it's 16, alright. then probably need an else. Okay, let's try this again. Nope. It expects a then. Isn't that what I wrote? Else if. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, maybe I don't need this else part. Okay, there we go. Now should work. Okay, yeah. So let's just connect real quick. No, actually this is not gonna. No, this is not gonna work. But basically, why did I do that? Well, you see, some people could just hack into their device. Um, Ultimately, the very goal is to make this program inside an operating system, which you're not gonna be able to terminate to. So, the OS dot poll event raw, which makes you not able to use Control T. But for now, people could just go into ls. They could edit iscon. They could change that to well, to 1, and then they could edit server ID. So let's actually do that, shall we? So we're gonna disconnect, and I'll show you what it looks like. Let's make sure it's disconnecting. Perfect. So now let's edit server ID first. So we'll put in 11, and then we'll edit what's the other one? Iscon, and we'll put a 1 instead. So now if we ping, basically the server will just say, well, hold on a sec, you're not connected. So it will pretty much just say you're not connected to that server, so you know you don't have access to it, even though you tried to trick it. So that's pretty good. Probably just print something right here just to say print attempt to connect illegally or something. Or, you know, like someone attempt to connect to hacking attempt. I don't know. We'll just leave it like this. So now let's try again. Oops, my bad. So with this, and it's gonna say, why is it not saying? This is very interesting. It's not logging it in. So if we say ping, it definitely does say you are not connected to the server, but it doesn't tells it in here. That's interesting. Oh, I'm dumb. I need to reboot the server. That's right. Okay. So now if we ping it, okay, there you go. So ID6 attempted to connect illegally or whatever. It basically just tells you, well, the guy tried to hack, but he failed because we have a fail-safe. That's the reason why we keep the whitelist on, to prevent stuff like this. But don't worry, you could still connect to it later. So now it's going to tell you you're connected, and if you ping, there you go, it works. So yeah, those are pretty much this is pretty much the little tests I've been doing in Computercraft. It's pretty good. I love, and I'll see you guys later.